Alright, folks. Outline I am in chat. Okay. Welcome back to more wheelies. And just starting off extremely strong. 2 Ruby Chalices. Definitely the reward that we're wanting to see. Okay, okay. Alright, not bad. I like the elite clue. As usual, my bank is an utter disaster. Where are my sacks? Where? You would think after so much time in the series, I remember there they are. I've done this this is episode 9 times? And the position of the sacks in my bank hasn't really changed. I could spam open these like I'm opening Elder Troves, but they tend to be more interesting than that. Than that. Creating that. Let's go! I haven't had one of those on my main in so long. I feel like people always are going on about the weapons being rare, and I would assume they're rare, but I don't know if they're on the same table as the core. I'm skeptical about that. I would assume they're on their own table, and they do seem to be more prevalent. In fact, if you went back and watched every video in the series and tabulated how many weapons I got versus how many cores, the amount of cores I've gotten is, with that one, I think 17 across both accounts. Although I don't know quite when I started this series. I might have just only started this series after the nerf. And you'll have to forgive me because it has been so long. 173. Now I'm late on this episode. I actually wanted to put this episode out a bit sooner. But obviously with double XP, I've been preoccupied with that being more important. I've made very good gains on my alt. Gains I'm very satisfied with. I actually maxed out Dungeoneering. I got 40 mil Dungeoneering XP over the first 3 days of double XP, and that was mostly with pickup groups on World 77. In fact, it was entirely with pickup groups on World 77. And those pickup groups were sometimes just normal standard floors on double XP. Excuse me. Fair amount of the time, people dropping their Garaggio cards, and that was basically the idea, because the previous double XP, and speaking of weapons not being as rare as cores, the previous double XP, I had noticed that Dungeoneering really drops off. Dungeoneering is really only active on World 77. It's only really active on the weekends. The 2 weekends of double XP, and then obviously the first weekend is more active than the second. My bank. After this episode finally is the one where I'm gonna get a Wisage. No, this episode is finally the one, and I get a decimation too. After this one, I will finally, it's been like the last 4 episodes, so what is that, 5 or 6 months, where I just let the brawlers accumulate in my bank. I'm going to combine all my brawlers on both accounts, I promise, after this episode. So, my bank will still look like a twister rolled through. It's still going to be an absolute chaotic mess. And I will be one bill richer from the 2 cores this episode. Maybe. Possibly. It's possible. It is possible. Yeah, very satisfied with that. Sorry, that interrupted my train of thought. Basically, the reason I've been putting the brawler thing off is because I didn't care about it. Like, I'm not running up against the bank space limit particularly right now. And with how many pairs of each type of brawler I already had, I figured a few more will actually make it more efficient, because you can withdraw all, and then it will take all the brawlers out of your bank. Because otherwise you have, you know, like smithing brawler and mining brawler and hunter brawler. Yeah, you see, they're basically the same color. Some other ones too, maybe thieving and cooking are pretty. We are in it. I just realized I did all my agility, or actually it didn't matter because I was on double XP time. I did all my agility dummies. I wasn't wearing brawlers. That might have been smarter. Actually, yeah, I could have saved double XP time, right? I don't know. Rake me over the coals in the comments if I'm an idiot for doing what I did with my agility dummies. I know you're supposed to use whatever dummies anyways, not thieving, but eh. Okay. 3 cores. Finally a lucky break. The last 2 episodes were pretty rough. Let's see what the Wormheart stash is at. And you might have, the keen-eyed among you might have noticed that I started with 171 on the main. Okay, so 74 Wormhearts. 171 on the main, and then 173 on the alt. It used to be that I would miss combat events ever since Necromancy release, or potentially miss combat events. I'm usually more diligent about it to meet the combat rec on both accounts now. If I actually even hit the event, which there was an event yesterday that I just straight up forgot about, which was unfortunate, but what can you do? Though if I'm on the road or something and I'm on mobile, obviously I can't have 2 clients open then. And 9 times out of 10 it makes more sense to be logged in on the alt because the XP land is also an intrinsic reward. So that's usually why, and that's basically been my policy for the past 3 episodes, let's say. So that's always why Exegor Fan has a few more sacks than Spurg. With that, I will be enjoying these 2 Spirit Onyxes that I got this episode, as well as the one on Spurg. And I will undoubtedly see you for another episode of Wild Rewards. Positively wild. See you in a month.